Ladies and gentlemen, I don't talk about My Hero Academia probably as much as I should, and that's mainly because if you are a shonen fan, this series is not your first pick. And honestly, even if you're a fan of the new generation shonen, it's still not going to be your first pick. But that's not me or even the fans saying that there's something wrong with My Hero. My Hero Academia targets a specific audience, and that's one that some of us weebs are not very aware of. Women. Girls. The opposite of what you are most likely watching this video. And the reason we need to talk about My Hero is because the series is severely underrated. But more importantly, the series is also coming to an end. And you heard me right, at the time you're watching this video, My Hero has one foot out the door. The last big series that called it quits was Demon Slayer, and since that was the last one to walk out the door, My Hero's following right after. And please don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything that happens within the manga that you've not seen in the anime. Instead, I'd rather give this show its praise for what it's done while it's been airing. And since I already pointed it out, I might as well say it again. My Hero Academia was an avenue for women to get involved with anime and manga. Now, it's pretty obvious that the majority of people that watch anime are men, and that is also true for anyone that wants to see any type of confrontation or fighting. That's just an area that men love to explore. I don't know why. But when it comes to My Hero, it opened a new avenue for women to join. You see, women were more invested with these characters because they were younger trying to grow up. As a male, you're most likely watching a series because you want to see fists fly. That's why you love Dragon Ball. But shocker, most women do not want to watch something like that. Therefore, they watch My Hero instead. And on top of that, My Hero is not always about fighting. You see, My Hero works very similar to a slice of life genre. And this slice of life day-to-day activity is more appealing to a woman compared to a man. Now, I also want to point out that as the series continued to go further, it started to lose that aspect. As you know, if you've been paying attention to the series, the kids do not stay in school forever. And as you can assume, people start to fall off if your requirements are not met. But that does not take away that a new demographic was watching from the start. So I want to give My Hero its round of applause for even bringing a new fan base into anime and manga. Now let me quickly point out the story you'll see from My Hero Academia. Shocker to none, this is another hero fighting genre. And when you get a main character such as Izuku Midoriya, you need to see him get stronger to beat the enemy. Of course you'll have your enemies, the baddest of baddies around that he has to defeat, but besides the school setting of having your main hero characters not always fighting, is that your main hero characters want to save instead of defeat. It's pretty easy to say that most series will find the bad character that needs to be defeated and just kill them off. And I shouldn't even say it like it's that easy, some villains don't even die. But that is the general goal, is to kill off those said villains. But My Hero does it with a twist where most of the characters want to save the said villain. And that's especially true for our main hero, Deku. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that is the right or the wrong answer, but it for sure matters because some people believe that killing is not the for sure way to get your answer. Now, My Hero is also about to finish with just one series, and some people may have an issue that your young students go to school to train, but they never get out of that era. You can consider that a good and a bad. While My Hero spends a lot of time in the school setting, towards the later portion of that arcs, our students are now involved in the real world. And now they actually have to fight as if they have a normal hero badge. I'd argue that this portion could have been separate. I don't mind them having another section where you can have real world experiences, because some people believe that you would have had an incomplete series if you did not. But instead of that, do a part 2. Something similar to what Naruto did when they had a separate series. My Hero tried to bleed into two different worlds a little bit too much. And it's not personally me saying that, I know plenty of people that agree with this said statement. I have a friend, a female friend I know, shocker, and without calling her out by name, she's told me that she actually liked My Hero. The problem is they branched out too far, which is past the school life. And I mean, well, she dropped the series. But you see, these people never say it was necessarily bad. Instead, I hear that the core audience wished it was separate compared to what the original goal was for the series. And yes, before you jump in the comments, I understand it's a story of how Deku becomes the #1 hero. But you for sure do not have a series if you do not have a fan base. And if you're getting more of a push from the softer side of My Hero, maybe you should have stayed around there a little bit longer. Nonetheless, for the series' sake, I believe it could have stretched just a little bit longer. I also want to emphasize that no matter how long the series actually was, anyone could be a hero no matter what you did. When it comes to MHA, a hero is not just a person that beats up the bad guy and moves on. And while it did feel that way for quite some time in the end, it wasn't always like that throughout the series. Even though most of the characters were thrown into beating up bad guys, that was not their intended goal. And really, they could have shown that a little bit more, that all Class 1A students wanted to go a different route. I mean, besides characters such as Deku or Bakugo who really want to beat up another character, many of these kids do have another planned goal. And however they can help someone in the future is how they would consider themselves as a hero. They even had characters that were villains that seemed to be a quote-unquote false hero. They had things go wrong in their own lives and therefore they became a villain. But not all of them just jumped up and were born to be evil. With so many characters within My Hero, it's hard to give them all a time and place to shine. And hopefully in the future we can get something like a side series that will elaborate on more of these characters and what they wanted to do. This whole world has a lot of characters that have been corrupted because of the Hero Society. And since we have such a long airing series, we get treated with every character's backstory. And I would say that is for the best. Some characters you really don't care about, but for the most part, you'll understand what every character is fighting for. And that's something we have to give MHA credit for, that no character does not have their own side of the story. But alas, My Hero is a phenomenal series, and honestly, I kinda wish there was more. You'll see fighting shown in left and right. However, My Hero did it just a tad bit different that it stands out. And finally, I also want to point out that our hero Izuku Midoriya is one of a kind. A character that was born without a quirk, however with his own determination grew to the point that he could be a hero. Matter of fact, he even became the strongest hero within the series. If you have not watched MHA, I would recommend you give it a try. This is a series that will be missed, but however, I want to hear you guys in the comments down below, what do you think of the series? And again, maybe I'll do more deep dives into the series in the future, but if you're looking for more MHA content, I have one for you over here. And finally, thank you guys all for the love and support. Until next time, take care, peace.